of these troubled times, our fifth objective, a new world order, can emerge.
Live from a bunker deep in the ground under Greenwood. We're trying to figure out how to get out of the simulation. This is This Week in Conspiracy. My name is Justin.
And I'm Brad.
And there is shitty ass dirtball. One question I have for this week. Did you get rid of your PA or did you sell them for us?
No.
So we don't have a mixer
We
yet.
don't have a mixer yet.
You could get no money for those PAUs. That's pissy ass undies for anybody.
I told you, she ain't selling them, remember?
That's
Those
right,
are the
too.
greatest
Those are nice
underwear ever
ones.
made.
So that's their favorite green underwear.
Yeah.
Green
and
stripe.
probably Bryce's green one, the favorite one, too.
Yeah.
Oh.
So how was your week, Ashley? I guess you went on vacation.
Yeah,
Was it
went
fun?
down to Georgia. It was nice. No masks anywhere.
So the soulless devil did go down to Georgia.
Yes.
Did she?
The devil went down to Georgia. She wasn't wearing a mask anywhere.
With the green underpants and peed a lot. She was willing to make a deal.
It smelled like ammonia everywhere.
Jesus.
Actually, probably dry pretty quick down there. It's so freaking hot.
Oh, it was horrifically hot.
Would you go anywhere? Anything special?
Helen, Georgia, it's like a German town.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's like German food and everything. Calm down. Just because
Not
you
that
stepped
kind of
down
German.
Main Street does not mean it was that kind of Germany.
Oh, you goose down Main Street.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing special, huh?
I mean, no, everyone was friendly. No one wore a mask. That was the best thing ever.
The South is always more friendly.
Yeah.
Anytime, literally, you go below the Mason-Dixon line, which is only like an hour and 40 minutes from us.
Right.
And attitudes are 180 degree different. Like they move slower. I had to get down there for work the other day down in Maryland last week, and we pull up and we're like, "Hey, we're here to pick this guy up." And the guy's like, "Okay, let me call them on the radio." And I'm like, "Dude, I got a 2.5 hour drive home. I pissed my pants. Like, let's get this ball."
Oh, we could have had Brad's pissy ass undies.
Yeah, pissy ass undies for
I
Brad.
didn't piss my pants. I was gonna piss my
shit.
pants.
I thought we had no more underwear. So. We vacuum seal them up.
Get rid of them.
Get rid of them, baby.
But they're my favorite.
Tell you what, if anybody wants my pissy ass underwear, send an email. I'll piss myself every
How
day.
about Pippi Stain underwear? Streaking.
Hey, before we get started,
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
before I get started here, let's talk about our Instagram and stuff. So, and our Facebook. So, if you want to follow us on Instagram, it's This Week in Conspiracy. We have an email. It's thisweekinconspiracy@gmail. Please send us some emails. Anything you want to talk about. If you have any articles, we're going to start. I'm going to do a shout out here for our contributors.
Content.
Contributors.
Content contributors. We had some content contributors this week, and I put them up on Instagram. So if you want a shout out, send us an article. We'll read it. Put it on Instagram. We'll talk about it because we work all week, so we need help whenever we can get. So if you can support us in that way, that'd be great. And what is our Twitter?
_conspiracy.
In underscore conspiracy.
Underpants.
And what else? Is there anything else I'm missing? Oh no! If you go on to
Facebook. We got
our Facebook is
This Week in
and
Conspiracy.
This Week in Conspiracy, and on Apple or Spotify. I know for sure if you click on the info, it takes you to a link that you can tap on for Anchor that you can record a voice message and leave us a message. We'll play it. If you have a question, ask it, whatever. You want to call us shitty, we stink, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Give us a review.
Yeah, that's fine. Go on.
Like us.
Yeah, go on. Like us on anything. Go on Apple. Give us a 5-star review. That'd be great. We're on Apple now. That's amazing.
Throw a little comment our way.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I know I put one on there, and Brad did. We did 5 stars, and we're
5-star,
amazing.
baby.
So with that, content contributors of the week here we got Sean W. Sean W. gave us a couple articles I put on Instagram. BK from Hollidaysburg, and then our uncle Bruce
G.
So there's our 3 contributors of the week.
Free range Brucey.
Free range.
Free
Oh yeah,
range.
he's free range.
Yeah, he's
He's a free soul.
yeah. Oh yeah. So we're gonna get in here. I think.
Well, in regards to that, like our analytics, they told us this week
yes,
that
yes.
what did we have? Something something big happened last week. We had our first comment.
Right.
Something big happened this week.
This week we have our first international listener.
Woo! Global.
We're going international, baby. They're from Australia. It's Victoria, I think is what it said. Australia.
Melbourne, I thought you said
No, it was
Melbourne.
Victoria.
Was it Victoria?
Well, I don't know if that might be the same place.
Yeah.
They might
We're
It's
real-
not.
Yeah, they're different. They're like, it's like states. That's how it's sort of like
Right.
broken up. Melbourne's just like a state.
Either way, they're getting
It's
locked.
Providences.
Providence.
I think they have
They
Providences.
try
But I'm
to
not
be
100%.
They try to be like
Queensland.
the Brits, but want to be like us.
Well, they have the prison spirit that we have. Because
Yeah.
they're all prisoners.
Because they were, yes, they are prisoners. As a matter of
Well,
fact,
now they are, yes.
lockdown number 4 coming your way. I think there was 25 cases. So, you got to lock down the entire place. I saw a tweet today, effective 11:59 p.m. 5 reasons to leave your home in Victoria. Food and supplies. Authorized work.
What's authorized work?
Care and caregiving. Exercise, but only up to 2 hours and with one other person. And getting vaccinated.
Oh, getting the V.
So you can go wherever you want as long as you get vaccinated.
Well, I mean, what's authorized work? And what
Slave. If you're an authorized slave, you're allowed to go out.
Well, and if you work out longer than 2 hours, I guess. If
Right.
you're fine if you work out before that.
Exercise and shopping is limited to 5 kilometers, km? I don't know.
Kilometers?
Kilometers. Radius from your home. Or closest shop.
Hey, what's radius?
Well, that means like
I
the
know.
area.
I'm not messing with you.
But like, who knows what a kilometer is?
Well,
Like, it's a little over a mile, I think, or under a mile.
Kilometer's a little longer than that.
Okay.
But like, I was watching a video the other day on Instagram where they were handcuffing guys from Australia.
Well, yeah, I saw the one episode where like there was like a lady and her daughter were sitting on a park bench, just chilling, just sitting on a park bench. Nobody else was around. Dragged the mom off because she wouldn't show the ID. Well, keep up the good work. Don't be slaves. Don't be slaves. Stand up for yourselves.
But no, the video I saw was guys getting handcuffed by cops, and as they were handcuffing them, like throwing them on the ground, they were slapping masks on their face.
Yeah, forcing them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know why that doesn't happen here?
Yeah, because a couple of years ago, you guys gave up all your guns.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah,
right.
that goes on here, and you're going to see and hear the shot heard around the world all over again.
You're going to see 5
And
guys.
you're about to see what freedom smells like.
You're going to see about 5 guys with receding mohawks shooting
Yeah.
you back.
Last of the Mohicans.
The last of the Mohicans.
But I mean, this week, you know what? First off, I want to say, hammer it out, Victoria. Don't put up with their shit. Stand up for yourselves. Right. Stop being slaves. This virus still has a 99.9897% recovery rate. So don't just fall for their bull crap. Cause like I sent you that thing today where they come out with the effectiveness of vaccines. So the Lancet, which is a pretty big medical journal, literally says, so right now they use for the vaccine efficacy, they use what is called, I'm looking for it here.
Pulling up.
I know.
My
The
Lord.
RR, which is the relative risk. And that's the ratio of attack rates with and without a vaccine, which is expressed as I minus RR, right? So they like to give those because, the vaccine companies can come out and be like, it's a 99% effective rate, 97% effective. It's a 67% effective. Yeah, but what they don't like to give you is what they call the ARR rate. And the ARR rate is the absolute risk reduction. Okay, that's ARR. And it is the difference between the attack rates with and without the vaccine. So it considers the whole population. It doesn't just take in, there's like, hey, we have a 100% effective rate, but we only have one person that we gave it to.
Right.
This takes the whole population into consideration. And ARRs tend to be ignored because they give a much less impressive effect size than the RRR. So, for example, the AstraZeneca RRR is 1.3%. The Moderna is 1.2%. The Johnson & Johnson is 0.93%. And the Pfizer is 0.84%. That means you get the shot, the odds of you versus the population being more
acceptable to get in.
Well, more
likely
to get it, I guess.
Yeah.
You only gain if you took
it's less than 1%.
Yeah, if you took the Pfizer shot, you only gained 0.84%
of not catching the disease.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's like 0.
Right. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. You literally, if you get it, you have a better rate of survival than you do to take the shot and not get it.
Right. I don't understand why these people are all freaking out. And is the risk better? The risk weighs the reward.
Because we don't even know what this has not been tested.
No, it has not.
We are the test subjects.
Right. No, I have clips from this pediatrician in Texas talking about that, and she specifically said they said they're not going to let that information out until after.
Right. Like 2022, 2023,
yes.
when the trials are done.
Right. So if they're giving the shots now, you're not going to know what the risk and reward numbers are.
Right.
Until after that number.
Right.
And that's with all of them.
Well, let's play that clip.
Here, I'll start. I'm going to start off with playing the whole. You want to listen to the whole thing?
Well, I mean, is it like 26 minutes?
No,
I know. But if it's like
I have multiple clips that are broken up. We can talk about it.
Okay.
All right. Jesus Christ.
For having me this morning. My name is Dr. Angelina Farella, and I'm a pediatrician in Webster, Texas, independent solo physician. I've come here today really to protect our children of Texas. This is a very scary situation that we're in right now. I just want to kind of touch on a few things, some history. Never in history before have we given medications that were not FDA approved to people that were not initially studied in the trial. There were no trial patients that were under the age of 18. There were no trial patients that were previously exposed or had COVID. These are two very important points.
So they're doing these. They want to give the.
They've authorized.
They authorize the vaccination.
They're giving it to kids under 18.
The kids under 18, and they've never done any tests with any kids under 18.
Right.
That's what she said.
Well, here's the first problem. She's an actual doctor who treats people.
Right. So that's.
I mean, if she spent 27 years in D.C. pretending to be a doctor, not treating people, just
Fauci
putting doing deals and like getting kickbacks and stuff.
Right.
Then she may have a leg to stand on. But when you're just a lowly pediatrician who actually does the job.
Yeah, no, they don't want to hear from her.
Mm-mm.
This is a woman who practices
right
all the time and sees patients constantly.
Yeah.
And here, I'll keep on playing.
Yeah.
The other issue is safety. I'm kind of a safety freak. I'm a pediatrician. I've been a pediatrician for over 25 years. I find myself a vaccine expert. I've given tens of thousands of vaccines in my office. I am not an anti-vaxxer. I'm a very pro-vax, actually, except when it comes to this COVID vaccine, if we can call it that. One of the big issues is the safety profile. The safety and the adverse events recommendations through the ACIP, which is the Advisory Committee of Immunization Practices, they have made some recommendations in regards to the COVID-19 vaccine. One of the things that is extremely troubling, and it's on their ACIP guideline for the Pfizer vaccine in particular, that recommendations about safety and adverse events will come out after authorization.
Right there it is.
yeah
So
be the slave test subject.
the step subject, it's not going to come out till after.
Right.
After.
So
that.
after, like they're already discovering spiked proteins in the placental wall
Right.
that they didn't know about before.
Sure.
But like, hey, let's jam this into our kids, our future.
Yeah, this is our future. Well, you know it's serious because she just says a bunch of letters, so she knows what she's talking
Yeah, Stevie Wonder would be very upset because
about.
we all know that the children are our future.
yeah.
If we teach them well,
Yeah,
let them lead the way instead of jamming them full of experimental drugs.
That's isn't that? I think that's the scariest thing of all. They're not going to tell you until after you get the injection.
I mean, I don't care because I'm past the age of whatever. You know,
I'm dead. We're walking dead.
Yes, I mean we're halfway through our lives. We've hit the peak, dude. It's all downhill.
Dead man walking.
So like whatever you want to experiment on adults who know and understand. You can't even buy cigarettes until you're 21 now.
Right. No.
But they want to jam this into your system. Your
Right.
kids.
No. You can't go. You can't buy a lottery ticket till you're 18.
Yeah.
But they. Hey, I tell you, here's a little thing. My niece the other day said they had a vaccination thing she's in junior high in the basement. She said I could just went down and got a vaccination. Now I don't know if she went down, they would have called us and like my mother and
Right.
or like my sister and said,
Yeah.
"Hey, can they do it?"
No, they won't.
But she made it like you could just go down and get vaccinated.
Mhm.
How is that even?
Well, that's what the Nazis have to do.
Oh man.
They got to get the kids first, dude. If they get the kids, then kids get home and tell their parents.
Well, they control everything.
Yep, and then they snitch on their parents.
Well, that's what they did. That's what every fascist regime has ever done. Let's keep going here.
They're extrapolating the data from adults down to children and adolescents. This is not acceptable. Children are not little adults. Not acceptable at all. Children have a 99.997% survivability from the COVID. 99.997%. Let me repeat that for you all to understand. And there's evidence that these children are actually a buffer. What that means is that these children actually, for some reason, do not spread the disease. Children are not super spreaders. So what we're doing to our kids right now is actually criminal. We are isolating them. We're putting them in masks, which is also clinically dangerous. We are also telling them that, psychologically telling them that if they bring COVID home, they're going to kill grandma, granddad, and uncle, mom, and dad. That is a horrible, horrible situation to put on our kids.
To me, this lady's like a superhero because I've been telling people from the start that putting little children in masks is like the worst thing you could ever do to anything.
Right. Well, yeah, because you're still trying as a child. You're trying to read faces.
Yes.
Like, how am I supposed to tell my kid, "Hey, stay away from that creepy looking dude over there because he's a pedophile"?
Yeah.
If all you do is cover their face all the time, you can't even see their face.
Here's a cute little meme everybody puts up. Look at your eyes. We can still see your smile. It's like, I want to punch you in the face.
It's just like we're all alone together. Yeah. While you're sitting on a yacht, I'm floating in a freaking leaky dinghy and like praying that I don't go under.
Yeah. And then not only she said it's clinically unsafe, like safe for that, but she said the whole thing's not good for children.
Right.
The whole, you know what I mean? So,
well, I always thought like the reason the kids aren't getting it was because we're older, so our immune systems are used to what's here, and so when something new comes out, it overfights them. So that's why it's killing really old people. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but like I do use common sense.
You look like one.
Right. Well, I have the same more education than Bill Gates.
You do have more education than Bill Gates.
So like kids, they're still being introduced to things.
Right.
So their bodies are constantly fighting more than ours are because hey, here come the measles, here come the mumps, here come the chicken pox and whatever, blah, 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 blah,
Well, she says what it is.
So when they get hit with COVID, it's just another new disease to them. So they're like, hey, this is weird. Let's fight this off.
Right. Well, she says what it is. I cut it out of the video because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
But
that's
it's...
My version sounds better.
Well, she has a name for it, but that's essentially what she explains later in the video, or the thing. She says these kids have a specific thing that fights this stuff off, and that's why they're not spreading it to everybody.
It's called human race. Like the humans are like preparing themselves to fight things.
Right, but she's like, you're forcing this vaccine on these children who aren't even spreading it to people.
Right.
And she said, the thing she also said, it was like, this thing, I'm for vaccines. That's what she said.
Yeah, because she's used to pumping them into kids all the time.
Well, for
64 of them.
right, and she said this is a vaccine if you want to call it a vaccine. So this woman's been doing this for years,
Right.
and she's hesitant on this, and she's been pumping kids full of vaccines her whole
Well,
career.
because look, I'm not against vaccines either. Smallpox,
Yeah, like
polio.
polio.
But what they did with those is they took a dead particle from it or whatever,
like measles,
and they
mumps.
yes, and they put it in you so your body recognizes it and fights it.
and then they build immunity to it.
These are mRNAs, so they're going, hey, I'm going to put this in you. Like it's, if you think about it on like a more understandable level, it's like programming a computer. Your body and your DNA and your RNA, your messenger RNA, are a computer. They're putting some synthetic shit into your arm to make your body go, oh, whoa, hey, that's not right. Let's mimic that fake stuff, and then our body will fight it. The problem is we don't know how long our body mimics that fake stuff, or what the hell else has a spike protein in it.
Well, if you listen to these other people, they're saying, "Oh, it just washes right out of your system."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, they don't know. That's what that woman she said. We have no clue.
Yeah, well, if it washes right out, then how is it effective?
Right.
I mean, wouldn't that defeat the purpose of
The whole thing.
Yes. Of everything?
Let me go back to the rotavirus vaccine of 1999. I've been in practice long enough that I actually was giving rotavirus back in 1999, and it was pulled off the market then because of 15 cases of intussusception. Intussusception is where the gut telescopes on itself. Intussusception is not necessarily life-threatening. It sometimes self-reduces, but the rotavirus vaccine was actually pulled immediately, and we stopped giving it to our kids. And what has happened with this particular vaccine is appalling to me. We have in excess of 4,000 deaths, and this thing has not been pulled yet. This is absolutely unacceptable.
So she's saying this other vaccine she was given had minimal problems.
Right.
It was
15.
15, and it was causing not life-threatening problems. This one killed 4,000 people, and they didn't pull it.
So if you think about it, they've only been giving this for 6 months.
Yeah, in this
So
country.
let's
yes.
just say that's 30 days a month times 6 times 3 is 180. That's 180 days, right?
You can go around the world now.
180 days. It's killed 4,000 people.
Right, and she just literally said,
And if you look at the stats, if you think about it, the U.S. is like at the top of the vaccination chain.
right,
Because we gave a bunch of money to these vaccine companies, but we got to keep the vaccine. So these other countries aren't as getting it into their people like we are.
right,
And there's 4,000 deaths. So think about that.
right.
108, do the math. Sit down with your calculator. You have your phone out.
We
I
gotta-
think it's like 4,800 is really what it is. Divided by 180, and that'll tell you how many people are falling over dead daily due to the vaccine. And that's just the reported ones.
Right. Well, they say if you look at the VAERS count, they say you times that by 100.
Yeah, because it's not like 99% underreported.
Underreported because the studies show that like
A Harvard
study said only 1% of the population reports the VAERS like that.
Right.
They don't report it. Those people are just like, oh, whatever.
Right.
Well, because you're too busy to report everything.
Yeah, and if you get sick or something, you're not going to report. Like,
Right. Well,
and that's not counting like the 250,000
before
bad disabilities.
before COVID.
Debilitating.
Before COVID, if you got sick, you took, whatever, like Motrin and went and laid in your bed until it was over.
Right.
You didn't get tested.
Well, before COVID, I didn't gather my family into the station wagon and drive to the local testing just to make sure I didn't have COVID.
Well,
I'm like, hey, you know what? I feel pretty good
Well,
today.
people will say to me, like, hey, my aunt got sick. She went and got tested. Like, why?
Yeah.
Well, she's like, well, they didn't feel well. Were they dying? No, they just didn't feel well. I'm like, why? If you were dying, go to the hospital.
I mean,
otherwise, just stay home.
Honestly,
That's what.
if not feeling well, if you had to go get tested every time, I like literally
Every
by
morning.
the end of every day,
Yes.
first thing in the morning, I would need to get tested. And then by like 9 o'clock at night, I'd need to get tested because I feel like shit.
As soon as my feet hit the floor, I'm like,
Yeah.
why is my ankles in pain?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's because you worked your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But,
So,
yeah, again,
you're all right.
no, I was gonna say, like, she went through this whole spiel, right?
Yeah.
And then she talks about a part of like where she talked about in like 2017 there was another pandemic. It was a flu pandemic that killed like 98,000 people in America. And she said because they had, you know, like medicines they can give, like pre-preventative medicines, only 98,000 people would die.
Right.
And she said that we have pre-preventative medicine for COVID as well. It's been around for a while.
Oh,
Right. And the state, this is a state rep. I want to play the question. So this guy listens to the whole thing where she talks about them giving the test, like giving the vaccines, and not getting any results before after you take it.
Right.
The whole thing we listened to.
Mm-hmm.
And this is his question. Because I'm
Well, it's probably like, did you see Biden eating that chocolate ice cream?
well, yeah.
It
Well,
was great.
I explained the fact that she explained this right after that last clip
Yeah.
about the
Right.
because this is the question. This is the only thing he picks up from the whole thing.
Thank you, Senator Lucy. This question for you, Senator. Of the people that you stated have died because of influenza, what percentage of those people had that early
Like Tamiflu or amantadine or other
I
antibiotics.
mean, were these people that died that didn't have any kind of medication?
Well, that's a very interesting question because the way the influenza is recorded is not an actual reportable disease in some counties, states. So the national numbers through the CDC are estimates, but we know that it's available.
I understand that, but you see, you led me to believe that they had died, even though there's availability to that list. But you let me kind of.
This guy sounds like I read. That's how I read.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's trying to make something up on the fly.
I'm gonna stop it because
It's annoying.
But listen,
So out of her talking about COVID, he comes up with 15 years ago during the influenza
but
outbreak.
this is like it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But still, this guy sounds like what I sound like when I read.
Yeah.
And he's a state rep. This is his question. It's like, and he couldn't even get it out. But all he was asking was about. She just stated that they had pre-preventive medicine for that, and still 98,000 people died.
Right.
That was his question. After all the other stuff that was questioned.
Yeah.
That was his
irrelevant. That's an irrelevant
Irrelevant question.
Because that's old. And
all he was trying to do is basically say, like, this is why I'm here.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, this is why I make $78,000 a year. How many people that died had taken Tamiflu?
well, he couldn't
We
even
don't
get
know
that. He
because you idiots don't count.
Well, he couldn't get that. She had to cut him off and be like, yeah, we have hermetic like Tamiflu and other things.
Mhm.
You dope.
Yeah.
And he was still stumbling, and she's like, why are you here?
Well, like, you know, like I try to break everything down to like its like smallest level, right? So we live in Blair County, okay? Our county.
Wait, don't tell everybody where we live, for God's sakes.
Whatever. We live in a county with a population roughly 127,000 people in our county.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so the other day at the school,
Yeah.
we had a little like prayer and things for all the
Like,
people who have passed away from COVID.
right, it was nice. I mean,
Yeah, it was nice. It was a nice thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah. 344.
Listen to the thing. Well, to cut you off, but it's just like, yes, all these people are all well-meaning. They're all very
Right.
nice people. God, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So 344 people, right? Which is bad. Whatever. You passed away from that. It sucks. But it got me thinking. Like as I'm standing there listening and looking at the number, and I'm like 344 people. Like I gotta see like some of our death stats in our county. Okay. So I pulled our death stats for our county. So in 2019. We had a total of 15, like they counted like 1,590 deaths, okay? So that's, a little over 1% of the population. Okay. Heart disease killed 452 people. So 344 people died of COVID in the last year. 452 people died from heart disease in 1 year. An additional 311 died from malignant neoplasm, which I don't even know what that means. I think it might be like a cancer. So almost as many people died of cancer as did COVID. And I'm guessing these are probably pretty normal numbers year to year. 300, 350. So we have as many people die from cancer roughly as we do COVID, but we didn't shut everything down when Billy the smoker falls over dead of lung cancer. Like, it's amazing. Like, the people are freaking out. Look at the stats, people. Look at the stats, please. And you also got to look at, like, New York, like 60% of their deaths were all, like, retirement homes.
Right.
They killed your grandparents.
They stuck in
The government.
Right.
The government killed them.
That happened in Pennsylvania as well.
I know.
But no one wants to hear the truth.
It's just look at the things yourself. That's what bugs me about everything.
Well, like we were talking the other day, you said, if this was a pandemic, you expect that there would be so many dead bodies, you wouldn't be able to know what to do.
Right. You'd be shoveling them with a bulldozer into a pit to burn
them
on the spot.
Right. Like they portrayed in India.
Right.
I mean, nothing like that happened.
Whoa, 500 doctors died of the new strain. But that one college that's suing the government, I can't remember which college it is, because they want the isolated COVID. Like, they want give me COVID that's been isolated so we can study it.
Right.
And nobody will give it to them. But all around the world, we're seeing all these different strains pop up.
Right.
So they can test for the different strains, but this university had to sue the CDC in an attempt to get an isolated COVID.
Well,
and that dude was like, it's either one of two things. Either it's a bioweapon, and they don't want us to know,
right. That's probably what
or it's not real.
Wow.
And people are just dying from the flu. We had a really bad flu season.
It could be either. Who knows? But
Well, the bioweapon is starting to sound a lot more
Yes,
like
it
it is,
yes, it
because
does.
all week this week, all they've talked about
is the gain of function.
is the gain of function, the Wuhan lab.
Yep.
Here we go.
Well, are they burying? Is this the other person they're going to bury?
the
Yeah.
Fauci.
Fauci's next.
Fauci's on the chopping block.
Yeah, he's done because he's been. He already made it through the AIDS, man. The AIDS thing.
I mean, well, honestly, he'll just retire. He's been there since the early 80s.
but you're 42, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 39. I'm 40. So, the last 2 years, have you ever? I never even realized that there was a question about AIDS.
Well, see, I'm a couple years older than you.
Yeah.
So I know that, like, when AIDS came out, like,
It was a big deal.
it was big.
It was huge.
It was big.
I was scared.
Everybody
I wasn't even.
Everybody was going to die from AIDS.
I wasn't even big enough to get a hard on. You know what I mean?
Everybody was dying from AIDS. Like, it was coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You thought if you had sex with a woman, you were gonna die.
Yeah.
That's what I was afraid. That was the biggest fear of my
Right.
life until I was like older. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you're like,
'Cause we got lucky. If we were
now, we didn't even hear of it.
yeah, but we were like 13 or 14 years old. That'd be horrifying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like 10.
But, like, so he's on the chopping block. But how convenient is it that the dude's been there for 40 years? So
Well,
his
yeah.
retirement's packed in his back pocket.
Right, but we already
He's
skipped.
ready to ride off into the sunset.
We already
anyway.
skipped over the fact that he pushed that AZT medicine.
Yeah, the cancer medicine
That
was killing cancer patients.
It killed cancer patients. That was oddly mimicked the same thing that AIDS did to people when they gave it to AIDS patients.
Yeah.
So there's a large majority of doctors and other scientists who think that AIDS was not made up; it was a real thing.
But it wasn't as bad.
It wasn't as bad as they said, and that the AZT killed a lot more people than AIDS.
Right. Because it destroys your immune system.
It destroys your immune
Right.
system, and that was like the people that died that took it from cancer. And this is what I read in an article. Allegedly
Allegedly.
said that
Well, you did read the article.
I read the
You didn't
article. I
allegedly
can't
read
say
the
the
article.
damn article, so I'll say allegedly. But it stated that the death was a immune deficiency disorder after they took the
Right.
medicine. And funny, when this AIDS came out, they pushed that on people, and they died from immune deficiency disorder.
Right. Which
It's the name of the goddamn disease.
right. And if you look, what was the biggest population? Users,
Drug users, gay men,
right?
people
So-
that undesirables in the public.
right
time.
at that time, right?
Right. Not like back then, people didn't give a shit about gay people.
Right.
Or people that, well, no one ever cared about drug users.
Right.
So, hey, who cares?
Who cares?
Get that money
Hey,
coming.
money saver.
Yep.
Hand that to them. They die off. They're not eating.
That was the Bitcoin of the 80s, man.
you
know what I mean? Yeah, that's what it
But
was.
like, so this week, all they did was talk about gain of function. They talked about the Wuhan lab. More and more evidence came from a lab, which, you know, I listened to a guy this week and he talked about why are all the Asian numbers low, but the white Europeans? So he was like, not only is this a bioweapon, but it's a rape to kill white.
Why they crushed Italy so much harder than everybody else? Apparently.
Right. Well, that's because they're an older population.
Oh, yeah,
That's what they said.
maybe, but who?
I mean, there's not old people in China or Taiwan.
Hold on. Ashley has her hand raised.
Well, no, but if you look at the way Italy is, everybody's closer, and they're very
here
like
we
hug,
go.
touch, get off in it.
all
Everybody.
right. That makes sense.
That does make sense.
But explain to me why Singapore, Bangladesh, Pakistan, like all these places where they literally live in slums,
My living room.
weren't falling over dead. Like they're on
Homeless
top of each
people.
other.
Well,
Yeah.
no, but
Yeah, what about the homeless people? Why isn't it ripping through the homeless population?
There's like no homeless deaths. Like there's no
That
like a
I've
rash of
the homeless population is actually growing in San Francisco and Texas.
They should be cleared out. Good.
oh no, I was just saying, but
Put your hand down.
they're
Ashley, put your hand down while you're talking. For Christ's
Oh my
sake.
gosh. Stop it. Just the way their culture is they're more like touch, hey, hug right there. The men kiss each other like everybody.
That was
Oh
in
my goodness.
That was in Italy. No one hugged or touched me.
Well, they wouldn't want to, but
Yeah, I wouldn't kiss my
I wouldn't either.
I may be gay.
I feel bad for
Right.
your wife. But
All right,
That
that
was
was a
a
great
big thing.
theory,
I'm
Fauci.
I'm
Dr.
not-
Ashley Fauci.
AZT
Yeah.
killer.
Yeah. But, like, the more that they talk about this lab theory, the more I think that my theory back in, like, May of last year
Oh, wait, hold on.
sounds even better.
Listen, he has more education than
Yeah.
Bill Gates. Here we go.
So,
Buckle in, everybody.
buckle up. So, I had this theory.
Bryce, buckle in.
If we remember, in December of 2019, Hong Kong was protesting for freedom, right? They had people in the streets. It was big. It was getting really
Oh,
big.
it was huge.
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
And Trump tweeted, the big meanie,
The
the eyes
orange killer.
Orange man bad.
Orange man bad.
Right.
Oh,
He
he's so
tweeted-
bad. He's the worst man ever.
And I'm paraphrasing because I don't know the exact tweet because he's not on Twitter anymore.
He was a great game show host, though.
He put out, the eyes of the world are on you. This will not be another Tiananmen Square.
What's Tiananmen Square? Is all the
That was when
millennials say.
that was back in the 80s when people in China were trying to get freedom
Did
again.
he by
They
chance
ran them
run
over
someone
with tanks.
They didn't run them over. They stopped.
Stop right before.
But hey,
Hey, that's a
that was an 84, and I've never seen that dude's
Listen.
face since.
that is a what do they call that? A something effect. Mandela
Mandela
effect.
effect.
People still think they ran them over.
Yeah, they didn't run them over.
I
They
don't
stopped-
know.
it's-
Maybe they did.
It stopped.
we jumped timelines.
He jumped
In my
so
timeline, they ran him
We
over.
might be in a simulation.
So he tweeted that in December of 19, right? And we were in the midst of a good 3 strong years of American economy. Remember, Apple was talking about building a plant in Texas.
Oh my God.
All these companies were coming back to the United States because we had crushed them in a trade war.
Are
We
you
were
a-
beaten.
Hey, are you a white supremacist?
Yeah, right. So isn't it convenient that Trump does that? Next thing you know, COVID
Man,
shuts down everything.
that was it. Boom.
That was it. So, we know that China doesn't really give a crap. When you have 1.5 billion people, you don't care about a couple million.
Well, it's
dying.
also close to the election too. I mean, that was like, it was like comparable election years. That's like days.
Right. And I like how, listen, Xi Jinping and, whoever runs Italy and France and the Queen of England, they all sit down and sip tea together.
I'm sure.
They don't give a shit about us peasants.
You don't think? Nah,
And for once in my life, I heard a president say, "You matter.
right.
Your job matters. I want you to do well."
This is a Trumper.
And like, how convenient that a year out, 8 months out of an election, boom, a quote deadly pandemic hits the world. And now we're all right back to where we were under Obama.
Do I have to get rid of my ZZ?
Gas at an all-time high.
Oh, everything.
The left saying how great communism and fascism is.
They love
it. They love it.
Hey,
A president who doesn't want you to do well, he thinks you should sit around and collect money.
Well, that's it. That's slavery.
Yeah,
People don't get it. Like,
shut up, slave.
Listen, should I get rid of my Xi Jinping tattoo I have on my chest like Tyson has a Mao tattoo on him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody loves that.
Yeah.
But it's the thing, you think you are doing better when you get that free money. That free money means that you are a slave. You don't get nothing from that. So that you have to do whatever the government says. Ashley's looking at her phone.
I'm listening.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
sorry, you looked at me and I was just like, yeah. Then you just lost it.
I mean,
they want us to be slaves to the government.
Yes, they want you to be slaves.
Because then you can't. What are you going to do if your entire life revolves around whatever the scraps you can give from your government?
Right.
You're not gonna. You don't have the balls to rise up for that.
No, they want everybody to be dependent on the government. It's suckling from the tit. It's like baby birds. You feed from that baby bird. Like I sent that text out to our family the other day when they were talking about when the gas shortage came out. It says a bunch of baby birds looking to suck on the. That's all they do.
Well, it's not even quick. We got to quit calling it free money.
It's
not free money.
No, it's not. It's just.
And here's what the magic thing is. So, for all you weirdos that read the Constitution,
people read the Constitution?
No, they don't. That's the problem. Our government is in charge
Bryce reads the
of
Constitution.
printing money for our country.
Well, that's
And
the
coinage.
that's the Fed.
No.
Oh no.
Constitutionally,
Right.
our government
Yes.
is in charge of it. They,
That's
in 1913,
Yeah.
went ahead and handed it off to the Federal Reserve.
And the darkened
And-
night. Hey, that was the darkened night. That was
Just
like before Christmas.
It was
Eve.
like December 23rd at midnight. I know.
midnight. Yes. Sorry.
So just so you guys know, the Federal Reserve isn't federal.
no, it's not.
They're
really.
not federal. It's the 5 largest banks. We don't know who it is, but we do know that it's the 5 largest banks in America. And so here's the thing.
Well, here, let's say before you go too far. I'm sorry. Keep that. But they have a commit. Like this is what I get from the argument when I tell people. There is a committee in the government that watches the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
That is the connection.
But there's no audit.
No.
They've never been audited.
No. I know that. I'm just telling you, when you tell people that, this is the.
Yeah, I know.
When you're arguing, this is for the layman to tell them.
They'll be like, Janet Yellen's in charge of the Federal Reserve.
Yes, no, they're
She's
not.
She's in charge.
No,
she's not.
She's not. She's just.
So here's what
Sorry.
happened when they passed the Federal Reserve Act. So the Federal Reserve is in charge of printing currency for the United States of America.
Let's look in your
Okay.
dollar bill. It says.
So here's what happens: if the Federal Reserve if the government has zero money, you have a zero bank account. It says zero, and the federal government goes, "Hey, Federal Reserve, we need $1." The Federal Reserve goes, "Okay, we'll print you $1, but you owe us $1.06." Right? Because you got to pay interest.
Yeah.
So guess what? Your government, aka you, the taxpayer, never gets out of debt because the government does not make money. The government only borrows and spends. They do not make anything. So if they borrow $1 at interest from the Federal Reserve, they cannot pay back $1.06.
Right.
They can't.
No,
It's
they never.
impossible.
No, it's the thing. To bring up a point earlier, or a long time ago, I talked to you guys. We're at the hunting camp, and I said to you and my uncle, I said, majority of my friends work for the government. That is not a good thing. Because that means there is nothing being produced.
Right.
Like my wife's friends, like my buddy's friends' wives are teachers. He's a policeman.
Yeah.
Other people work for the government, like work on the road.
And that's not being a government employee isn't a bad
That's
thing.
not a bad thing. He got mad
But
at
the
me.
majority
Right.
of people should not be.
Right. He got mad and he said, well, these jobs need done. I was like, I'm not saying it's a bad job.
Right.
I'm saying it's not good when I know 85% of the people I know work for the government.
Right. Right.
That means nothing's being produced.
85% of the people should be their own business.
Right. They should be
And
producing
15%
Right.
should be.
Yes.
Right. Right.
things. I have nothing wrong with teachers, road construction. I have nothing wrong with that stuff. But when you know everybody you know is doing that,
Yeah.
that is not good. That means that there's nothing being produced. And that's what's been happening for the last 20, 50 years.
Right.
Because it's been slow. And that was coming out of the toilet the last 2.5 years, like the last 4
Yeah.
years. That was coming out of the toilet. And
Yeah, people were going back to work.
yes,
People
there was
were
more
producing-
jobs, and
people
now
had
it's
money
getting
in their
crushed.
pocket. Right.
I felt it. You can say what you want about Trump. I don't personally think he's the greatest person in the world. He's not Jesus to me.
Right. He's a human being.
Right. So, but at that time, those 2 years, those 2.5 years, everything was going great.
Right.
People were getting along. You go out the street.
Hey, people were getting along. Well, I thought he was a mean tweeter.
Oh, he was a mean tweeter, but
It
no one
hurt
gave it.
my feelings.
Hey, no one gave a shit when they had money in their pocket.
No, the people who worked didn't give a shit.
Right.
Everybody else did.
Right. Well, anybody who watched CNN and MSNBC cared.
Well, no, the people who were taken off of the welfare doles that the 8 years prior put on
Yeah.
was pissed off because now they actually had to go do something.
I'm going to tell you a little secret. The last year of Obama's presidency, I'm in construction. I talked to people, they were scared. They said, I do not know what I'm going to do next year.
Right.
We have nothing going.
But if she would have won, we would have been okay because we wouldn't have got mean tweets.
Right, we would have, but they said, I have no idea what we're going to do. We have nothing going. I have nothing planned for next year. These are people that build houses.
Yeah, lifelong
Contractors.
owners.
They have nothing going next year. Normally, they have at least 1 or 2 houses going. In a bad year, they have 1 house going. You know what I'm saying? And they told me we have nothing. Obama gets elected.
Yeah.
Trump gets elected. Boom, snap. The economy, boom,
Yeah.
gone. Everything's gone.
Well, yeah, because when smart people start to fold in on themselves.
Listen, don't. Here's the thing. Don't use like the derogatory terms like smart people. Like everybody else is dumb.
No,
I'm just saying.
No, I'm not.
I
I know what
understand.
you mean.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying
But-
for the fact of the point, to make the point, it's just that this is what happened.
Yes, and those people who do these things are smart. So they look and they go, well, the last 8 years has been really shitty, and the next 4 years could be shitty, depending on what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm going to fold everything in on myself.
Right.
I'm going to protect my wealth. I'm going to protect everything that I have. I'm going to not spend money. I wanted to get the door done, but I'll wait another 2 years to see how things go before I go order a $3,000 door.
Right. What?
But they know that when they get a guy who's like, I want you to go back to work. I want you to do things. I want you to be freaking making money. They go, hey, you know what? That guy just won. I think I will spend a little money.
Well, that's it. I told a friend of mine he voted. He wanted to vote Democrat. I said, listen, that's fine. It's not a Democrat Republican thing. It could be anything. This is the way it is now.
It's in everything.
It is everything now. But as I said, I own a business. I will be fine. But I might have to lay off 4 or 5 guys.
Right.
But I will make it.
Yeah, you'll make it.
I'll make it. You won't. It happens all the time.
Right.
Why are you guys keep picking these people that choose to beat the economy down
I know.
where you can't make it?
I know.
I don't want to lay. I enjoy, like, the people that have worked for me. I want them to all flourish.
Yes.
Here's the evil thing. They think that I own a business. I hate everybody who works for me. I'm gonna like hit them with whips.
Yeah.
I don't. I want them to make out because I want to make out. If they don't make out, I don't make out. It's like a human body. It all pumps the same. Like, if they do good, I do good.
Right.
If I do good, they do good.
Yeah.
But they think that like everybody owns a business is evil. Like they're twirling mustaches. Like
Patting their hairless
yeah,
cat.
I have like Muttley. I have Muttley standing beside me. Like, what's his name from Penelope Pit Stop? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. But no, I want to do well. They want to do well. Everybody wants to do well. Everybody wants to make out. But they don't get that.
Right.
It's just, I told them, I said, you vote the way you want. That's fine. But I will have to lay off 4 people. I will contain my business. I will make the same money I make. You won't.
Yeah.
But
Well, you know, you're a goof, dude.
I'm a
You're a rich business owner who hates
I'm rich. I drive
yeah.
a truck that have rust holes all through the goddamn
Yeah, don't lie. You got 4 trucks. Okay,
Well,
you can
there's-
drive the nice one, or you can pretend to be low class and drive the one with the rust hole in it.
That's what I do. I roll like the rust hole truck. Plus, I have 4 other trucks that are work trucks.
So, all right.
Gumballing.
So we hit about COVID. We hit about we hit a little bit on the economy, which is a little off topic, but whatever. We went okay. So the other thing I wanted to talk about this week was the ATF
Yes.
director
Oh,
in
that
front of the
piece of
Senate.
garbage.
Yeah. Like, I didn't even write his name down. I can't remember what his name is.
I remember his name if I look it up.
But before we but before we get into him, what I wanted to talk about. So back in this my dog. Dog. Back in December of 2019, Donald Trump dropped a bomb on the Iranian general in Iraq. You remember that? When they smashed him, dude.
Yeah.
He was like at the airport and we just bombed him. We didn't care. So the DHS issued a terrorist alert after we hit him, right?
Right.
So, hey, be careful. There might be terrorism coming. So those are very rare that they issue this.
Right.
So the next time they issued one was January 6th.
Right. That was.
I don't know what happened.
That was the worst day ever in history.
Oh, yeah, it was when we went to the Capitol.
Do you
When
remember?
people went to the Capitol.
Do you remember when you ran in your basement?
Yeah, I know. It was so horrible. It was so horrible that they just said the other day that it was the worst. It was worse than September 11th. Screw you, 3,500 people who got killed
Right.
on September 11th.
Why?
Nobody who got killed, really, except for one woman,
Murder.
was murdered. 'Cause everybody else died of like a heart attack.
Like 2 days later.
Yeah. The
But-
one dude had a stroke. The cop had a stroke.
Like, I had that thing on Instagram. It's like, hey, no one died that
Right.
night. Yeah.
Except for Ashley Babbitt, who was shot by a Capitol police officer. She was unarmed, and we still don't know who did it.
There's all kinds of videos out there.
Yeah, but she was shot climbing through a window with no weapons.
No weapon. She was
And like I
unarmed.
listened to the other day, they were saying, how many weapons were confiscated at this January 6th? None.
Listen,
How many gunshots were there? Just one. The Capitol police officer who killed that woman.
I'm gonna tell you that day I was so excited.
Yeah.
I drove home. I was.
We were texting each other. I think you texted me.
I texted
We're
you.
like, hey, did you see that? Like, they just took over the Capitol building, and I'm like,
Yeet, yeet. I called you
yeah,
in my driveway. I was like, you see this? You're like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm so excited. I'm in
Yeah.
the house right now. We're like, I'm watching it on TV.
yeah.
And then everybody, hey, this is how dangerous it was. There was a curfew.
That was at 3, and
Yeah.
by 6:30 at night they were leaving.
They had a 6 o'clock curfew. Everybody left.
Yeah,
That's how dangerous. This is how bad the insurrection was. This is how bad. Like, if I was taking over a government,
Yeah,
I'd be like, oh wait, hold on, time out,
did you say
guys.
6 o'clock? Did you say 5? It's 5:59, guys.
guys
Let's
gotta
get
go
outta
home.
here.
Come out, guys. They said 6 o'clock. We gotta go home.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
pack
yeah,
it
yeah.
up.
The streetlights are on. Let's
Hey.
Pack
go.
it up, buddy. Hey,
So
spin it around. We'll be back tomorrow morning.
So not only did no guns get confiscated, not a single statue was destroyed. in
Nothing
there.
happened.
No paintings were destroyed. So, we have artwork from 1800s in there.
Right.
Nothing.
Listen.
Nothing got destroyed.
A woman told me, it's like, your people is the
Yeah,
ones that
your
want to throw over the government. I said, if my people threw over the government, I'd have a George Washington painting sitting above my fire.
Yeah, I'd have my feet up with Bill Clinton behind me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely have one of the paintings.
Or
in
the
my living
6-finger
room.
Obama painting.
Yes.
The 6-finger.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Look it up, folks.
That's another time.
Oh,
We'll
look
talk-
it up.
we'll talk
He's
about
got
that.
6 fingers.
We'll talk about that some other time.
Because of the Giants.
Hey,
Oh, but anyway, so they issued.
Ashley has 10. She's still looking.
I'm still looking.
No, he has 6
Count your
fingers on
toes.
each hand.
Oh my god.
Count your toes.
So okay, so they issued another terrorist warning on January 6th, and they used intel from the U.S. Postal Service. So just so you know,
Hey, they're
you
good.
can look it up, everybody.
They really control
There
it.
is an illegally run section of the U.S. Postal Service that spies on you. So just let you know.
They ran
You
the,
can look it up and find it.
they ran the election well.
So that was supposed to run till the end of April, right? Because supposedly the white supremacist right wingers in March were going to, because March was the original inauguration date. Whatever. So just recently they went ahead and extended that to the end of summer.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Which-
yeah.
Which got me thinking, why would they do that? I mean, I haven't heard of anything. I haven't seen anybody. I mean, there's not dudes in white hoods marching through the streets. Now, there are places in our country
TV
where
commercials.
where they still are burning cities to the ground.
Well, they're just warming up because it's cold.
So then I watched the ATF director.
Yeah, that piece of.
Yeah. So everybody, I need you guys to Google the nominee to run the ATF.
I have his name. You know his name?
Yep.
David Chipman.
Chipman, right?
Yes. There's
Yeah.
a nice, beautiful picture.
There is a very nice picture, and if you watch us on Instagram, it was on
He
there.
has a nice little smirk on his face.
He does. You know what he's standing in front of, everybody? The burnt remains of 70-some people out of Waco, Texas.
Well, no, 70-something people. That was women and children.
Yeah, well, 70-some of them.
Yeah, that was called Waco.
Yeah,
Where
Waco.
they burnt women and children who
So-
basically were hostages, and they burned with that.
Right. So, a good documentary to watch is the one on Netflix, because they actually make like the ATF look like a bunch of shitheads.
Well, they were.
They were, but yeah.
Well, how does the
Koresh literally comes out with his hands up, and then he starts shooting.
right? Well, ATF shows up with the media at the same time. How's that happen?
Well, they did, and what's funny is when they went and took the media. You can't find any of them reels.
Right. No.
They took them all.
Let's
They
go.
disappeared.
This all goes back to Ruby Ridge, which we will talk.
We will talk about
later because that's another.
Well, the Ruby Ridge is like the prequel to Waco.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
horrendous,
Yes.
and
So I'm thinking to myself,
I can't.
they're putting a guy in charge of the ATF that has a big shit-eating grin on his face, standing in front of the burnt remains of American citizens.
with an AR-15. I
With
believe I
it,
see.
I don't think that's an AR. It looks like a FAL.
It might be,
But-
I can't tell.
But he did say in his testimony that he was issued an AR, and it was a very highly lethal weapon.
It's lethal.
Yes. The 223. 22 caliber, slightly larger. My .308 hunting rifle does more damage.
I
mean,
shot deer with holes coming out the side of them, the size of softballs.
Yeah.
And this guy's talking about a 223.
So maybe I'm thinking, did they extend that because he's going to get in charge of the ATF and he's going to pull a bunch more Wacos when he tries to take everybody's
That
powers.
is what's coming.
Yeah.
That is the future for
And so
everybody.
now you need to have a terrorist watch alert because the ATF is kicking people's doors in and burning them out.
Listen, when they come and take me and Brad, This is it. You know that we just said that, hey, we're peaceful people. I am not going to be forceful. If they want to, if they have, this is what they were planning to do. They're coming for me and Brad.
They're coming for everybody.
This is, well, yes.
You're innocent until proven conservative. Is pretty much what they're doing.
Yes.
Right. Once they prove you're conservative, your ass is grass. They're gonna come for you.
Right.
And I want to apologize to Sam because I said, start
Right. Black
being
Pill.
nice and
Black
happy,
Pill Sam is his nickname now.
like being nice to people and trying to do things on the local level. You know what? Go buy guns, go buy ammo, buy food, and buy water.
Stack 'em
And
up.
not even water. Buy a water purification because you can find stagnant water anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
But start getting ready because they're coming for us. They are coming for us. If you're a conservative, someone who believes that you have a First and Second Amendment, a constitutional
Well,
right
it's not
to
even
think,
conservative. This is just like a regular person.
right? If you're an American
Yeah.
who still believes in America, they're coming for you, and they're gonna. And if this guy is any indication of who they're putting in charge of things, they're coming to burn you and your family out.
Right. Like, I'm willing to argue anything. But this is the point now where they're coming for everybody that believes in freedom.
Right. Yeah, and not socialism.
No, this is it. There's a point where, conservatism and liberalism or whatever, you can argue with. There's always a point where you can argue.
You all can kind of agree
Listen,
on certain things.
For years, fine. You have points you agree with, the point you don't.
Right.
But this is now a point where they're coming for
Right.
anybody that believes in the First Amendment, the Second Amendment.
No, if you just believe in all the amendments, if you believe in you have the right to anything,
Right,
And
that's
they're
it.
talking, and they're coming from everything to we're going to force inoculations on you.
Yeah,
You don't get a box-fed gun that shoots semi-auto. You don't get to talk about people that you don't like because we'll just shut you down. They're coming for
that
you.
podcast was in tinfoil. They basically said that the government has control of everything. They're
Yeah,
shutting
with
down
Dr. Shiva.
Dr. Steve, they're shutting
Yeah.
down all your speech. That is the First Amendment right.
Right.
So now they're shutting down your First Amendment right, your Second Amendment right. That is the two most important rights of the whole Constitution.
Well, I heard one time a guy say something that really struck a chord with me. He said there's always been three ways to change things. The ballot box.
Right. You can't do that now.
They can't do that. They cheat. We all know they cheated. There's no way at 3 a.m. a bazillion freaking ballots got dropped. And there's no way that this rambling buffoon who sexually molests little freaking kids online.
Allegedly.
As he's looking at her.
Allegedly.
This guy couldn't have gotten more votes than a guy who gave you a job. Hair sniffer. So the ballot box is out.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
The second box was the soap box. So people used to stand on the box in the town square and preach. So Twitter and Facebook are our soap boxes.
Right.
YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, because that's what gets you out there, right? Well, they're gone. You can't go on those anymore.
No,
Because if you say the wrong thing, they'll just shut you down.
Well, if I even question one guy.
If you literally put their own writings up, they'll shut you down if they don't agree with it.
Here's this. I posted, listen, in Instagram this week, I copied and pasted a picture from, Grimerica. Grimerica. They had a picture of the 2016 Winter Olympics or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a gigantic, looked like death.
Oh, yeah, with the hospital beds around.
Yes, the hospital beds and people with masks walking around.
It was their intro.
The intro to the Olympics. And he said,
makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, they said on their thing, it's like, well, is this a prelude to what happened in 2020?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was funny, and I sent it on, and they sent me a message on Instagram that said, well, U.S. Today said that's fact false. That's a fact false thing. That the 2016 Olympics did not have a thing that said that the thing was coming.
Wow. No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying your symbolism is what was
right.
telling.
And they had basically they said you had to delete it or whatever. So I deleted it, and they have it on. They posted.
We got 4 followers.
Yeah, they don't. I don't care. I was like, I'm trying to build something. They reposted it and said like they reposted the
Yeah.
resend thing and it was like made fun of it or whatever because they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Which they shouldn't. But
Yes, that's your soapbox. Your
that's
soapbox.
just it's now gone.
Your mouth is shut down.
It was literally like 100-foot goddamn death thing.
Yeah.
When there was hospital beds
Right.
and people wearing masks on their face.
There's nurses and stuff.
Yes.
Everybody. Yeah.
And
Everything's, they tell you what they're going to do.
right.
And then the third box,
Sorry.
that's okay. No, it all fits. The third box is the ammo box.
Yeah, it's empty. You can't get
That's what we have left.
Right. This is what I thought.
Think about that, people. Your ballot box, it's gone. We all know that it's bullcrap. We voted for things here in PA this year, just 2 weeks ago,
They said
and there were tons of problems.
hundreds.
Not enough ballots, but only for the Republican side.
How's that
Fronts and backs, but they weren't telling you there was a back. Issues with the machines. It's all a hoax.
Well, how many, this is the thing. How many years we voted? It was a joke and we didn't even realize it.
Yeah, forever.
Forever.
For
It's
our
it's a whole game.
It's
We
a game.
live in a simulation.
This is WWE.
But listen, you don't want to believe in the simulation as the whole big giant conspiracy simulation. But this is a simulation. They've been controlling us for years.
Yes.
This is all a joke.
So I'm telling you right now, to wrap this up, I think you need to start getting ready, seriously ready. Food, water, guns, ammo,
Food.
Because that's the next thing. That's the next thing. There's droughts out west.
Oh, man.
Food will be used to herd you into camps. Hey, you want to eat? Come down here. Oh, I see that you have guns. You have to turn your guns in if you want MREs. Sorry. That's just the rules now. They're going to herd you into camps, dude.
Yeah, that was the I didn't want to say it. I can't think of it right now. But it's all the little things you don't think is going to happen. I own a business. It's all the little things that are shutting off.
Right.
It's not the big things you thought.
No, it always starts small.
It always starts small.
Because by the time you wake up to it, it's already too big.
When they tell you to come to an internment camp, don't go.
Yeah.
Stay out of it.
If they tell you to come to Walmart to get free food, don't go there.
What do they call them? FEMA camps.
Yeah.
Stay out of the fucking FEMA camps.
Stay
Sorry
out of
for
the
F
cattle
word.
cars.
Sorry for the F word, but stay out of the FEMA camps. Do not go to the FEMA camps. I told people this 8 years ago, and everybody laughed at me like I was an idiot, but I think it's coming.
It's coming.
I honestly, God, before I didn't think it was, I was just telling them, like, hey, listen, if it ever happens.
Yeah.
Now I, honestly,
Right.
God, think it's going to be coming.
But you know what? That's too dark to end on.
Hey, listen.
But
Sorry, Sam. Hey. You want to talk about UFOs or something?
well, what I was gonna say is we're hoping that we're gonna have a guest on this week.
Oh, we're going to have a guest, though, right?
We're hoping. As of right now, we are scheduled to have a guest for our next taping right before Alien Disclosure, and we're gonna dedicate the entire episode pretty much to aliens.
No, most part of it. Well, here's play one. Want to play one thing before we get out of here?
What you got?
I have a from 60 Minutes. There was a guy on 60 Minutes. He was Christ. Yeah, I'm all over the place now. But he was a producer on 60 Minutes. He used to work with Mike Wallace,
Mm-hmm.
and they did an interview. He had the book coming out. I can't remember the book. I don't have my notes in front of me, but here I'll play the clip here for the UFO. He talked to Jimmy Carter about UFOs. This is what he had to say. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, my.
Banana.
That's the wrong one. I'm all over the
Well, we
place.
know that they're coming out the middle of next month. They're
Right.
supposed to be disclosed. What I'm going to give you as a side note to the Alien Disclosure before he hits play on this is, although it's going to be really eye-opening, I think,
I don't think it
make sure you go look to see what else they're doing.
is. Yeah.
Because that's just going to be a distraction.
Oh, there's always this nothing right here.
What's the story about President Carter and the UFO files?
So I asked when I had done the first interview with Mike Wallace with Jimmy Carter. after he left the White House. And I said to him, Mr. President, I always wanted to know why you never released the UFO files, which you said in an article, I think it was in Rolling Stone, that you would do. And he said, I tried. I said, what do you mean you tried? He said, well, I called the CIA director, had him come to the White House, and I said, I want the file on the UFOs to be released. And the CIA director said, sorry, we're not going to release it to you. You're basically a civilian, and you're here for a temporary period of time, and you don't have access to them. And Jimmy Carter at that point was trying to learn his way around the White House and didn't push the matter, didn't realize how much power he ultimately had, and he gave it up, is what he said. And the CIA director was George Bush.
Oh,
G-Dubs.
G-Dubs.
Not G-Dub. The first Bush.
Oh,
H-dubs.
H-Dubs, yeah. But, it was, no, that's...
So, Bush, the CIA director, literally told the President of the United States that he didn't have access. You're just a civilian.
You're a civilian. He's
So
like,
who runs our country?
Well, that's it. That's the CIA. I just
Who runs our country?
Right. That's what I figured from the
mean,
get-go anyway.
I
This is
wouldn't
why
trust
I'm
Carter
in
with it.
conspiracy.
Yeah.
That was Ira, I forget his name, but he has a book out.
So hopefully next episode after this one, we're gonna have some alien stuff on. We're gonna talk alien. We're gonna talk disclosure.
That's coming up.
We're gonna-
That's
yeah.
supposed to be like the first,
The 15th,
The 15th.
roughly around the 15th.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're gonna get our episode out a week before that.
Well, hopefully, but who cares? They're going to give a shit.
Yeah.
You know they're going to lie to us. If they have anything, they're going to get. It's like when Bush Bush, when Trump released the tape, like the whole thing. You're like, oh, finally, we're going to find out who killed Kennedy.
Yeah.
It's like here's a whatever, nothing.
Here's 97 blacked lines.
It's
on
like,
paper. That you
Here's
can
the two. Oh, I'm sitting there waiting for the 2 frames from the Zapruder film.
Right.
It never comes out.
Right.
And like I'm hoping to see some guy smile with his hand up at the rifle.
I get what I mean. They give it like a Hawaii high five.
Yeah, he's like rock and roll,
Yeah.
and has one hand on a rifle. It never comes out.
All right, so listen, we're wrapping up another week. You want to throw out our Instagram and stuff
Yes.
again one more time?
Instagram, This Week in Conspiracy at Instagram. Follow us, DM me. We'll get you on. Send me a article. I'll put it on Instagram and talk about it, and then you'll get a shout out on the show. There is the email that is thisweekinconspiracy@gmail.com, and the Twitter is
in_conspiracy.
the _conspiracy, and then there's Facebook. Is This Week in Conspiracy at Facebook. Well, This Week in Conspiracy on Facebook.
Yeah.
And also on the if you can click on the information on Apple or Spotify, I know for sure. You can leave us a message and we'll play. You can leave a voice message. I left one. I listened to it. It's horrific. But you can leave one and we'll listen to it, and you can say whatever you want to say. You can say like, "Hey, Brad sounds like shit," or "Ashley's terrible," and "Justin's the greatest." That's probably what you want to. That's probably what you want to leave. But that you could do that. And is there anything else you guys want to leave? But the what we talked about earlier, the content contributors of the week, get on the email us articles. I'll put them up on the Facebook and Instagram, and I'll put you leave me a name you want to be put on there. I'll put it on there. I'll hashtag it so there'll be a list of them. Because like I noticed this. Listen, I'm new to the Instagram game. If you hashtag anything, you can hashtag like I smell like shit, and there's like a list of
them.
Yeah, we'll be the only one on there.
Yeah.
Or whatever name you want to be on there. If you want to put like PPF or whatever your name is, I'll put it on there, and they'll be the only one on there. We'll keep a list of them, and then we'll yell you out every week. It's a contributor. That's what we need, and it's just as good as money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, help us grow.
Help us grow up, and thank you, and peace out.
Peace.
Peace.